domo arigato, namaste. So I think I'm gonna do why I kick the way that I kick and why I kick. So I never kick out of anger. So I have a lot of aggression, and right now I'm like rapping out some tenacity with verbal aggression, but I'm never gonna be like, I don't like you! You know, that's not okay with me, first of all, if I'm training someone in violence. But this is why I kick the way that I kick effectively, despite verbal aggression that I might use or rapping with the crowd. So I went over my a few days ago or a few weeks ago on my YouTube channel. Most of my kicks, again, this is Okami Shotokan, and it's designed to be the most effective that I find martial art in defending oneself or defending others in hand-to-hand combat. So the kicks that I do, I can kick. But I have knockout strength at 6'2 or 6'1, but I find majority of kicks to the head to be ineffective unless you're trying to end the particular fight, to defend yourself or somebody else, to win, the hand-to-hand combat scenario, because a lot of karate, they'll tag it, but it's not powerful enough to actually knock the person out or kind of put them into submission, while having, an actual fight. So, the few kicks that I know are knockout kicks, and I normally use my right leg. That being said, the majority of my kicks are to the leg areas, like Muay Thai, to basically, make the person's mobility less effective and to make them keep their distance. I also don't use a side kick or traditional karate side kick like that, or a traditional pushing off kick like that, or a backside push off kick like that. This is just the language that I use because I'm American. I like to get people into our sport, and if they want to, I'd love to study Japanese. I do know some Japanese. I know more French at this point. But this is my fighting stance, and it's mixed martial arts. And if I'm trying to win the fight, and this is my fighting stance, Wonder Boy does a really good job at this. Hopefully he doesn't mind the shout out. Torques his hips, open up his hips, and he kicks pretty hard like that. I'm pretty sure I've seen him do that in fights, where he opens up his hips and does that. That's at least how my sensei teaches that kick. So he does have knockout strength, with that particular kick. But for me, if I'm like this, I just find that ineffective because the trajectory is too easy to grapple, and it's too slow. If I'm like this and I want to torque my hips to knock someone out, fight! That's a much more effective fight kick, like that. And since my stance is sideways like this, like that, rather than having push somebody off, it's much more effective for me to use my tree pose in yoga and fight, in like that, get out of here. And then I'm not just pushing them off, I'm giving like a Charlie horse, so then their stance suffers, and it makes it harder for them to come in on me if I'm defending against myself against multiple people, or fighting someone that actually knows how to fight. So the majority of my kicks are designed for legs or body, and we've talked about internal organs, in order to be effective while fighting. But I do have knockout power at 6'1", 6'2", based on my height. Because in Kung Fu, they can put their leg above their head, but there's not knockout power, in my opinion, if your foot's that high. So really what you're doing is just fancy kind of garbage that won't actually help you with defending yourself. So that's why I kick. The majority of kicks that I was taught in my dojo, Dojo in Japan, I teach. But the ones that I don't teach is a traditional side kick like that I just don't have because I've just desired not to increase my flexibility. The push-off kick like that, and the backside push kick like that. So this is why I kick, and it's never out of anger, frustration, or hate. It's for a purpose. It's to defend myself or others. And then again, it's knockout strength in my right leg to the head, and I can get up there with the left, but that's a different video. And then it's designed to take out, never knees, ever knees, calves, quads, hips, internal organs like that, in order to be most effective in a fight. That's the why I kick the way that I kick. And we'll do the next video on the difference between right and left.